Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Smart Lawyers Love Dumb Nurses. My name is Dr. Brian Smith, and today we are going to talk about toxic management behaviors. So if you are in management, if you consider yourself a leader, if you work with management that possibly has some of these behavior issues, you may want to send this podcast their way. So I have 7 for you today, and the first one I want to talk about, and again, toxic management behavior, is micromanaging. I think we've all had this type of situation in our work life. Micromanagement stifles innovation and erodes trust. You've got someone basically looking over your shoulder, and they may say they trust you, but actions speak louder than words. Employees feel undervalued, demotivated, and their job satisfaction goes down when they feel like their ability to work is undermined. So management, be careful of that. Giving the impression that you have to have your thumb on everything in that situation, it makes for a long day. There are many types of leadership qualities, and my advice is don't be a micromanager. You can still be a great manager, a great leader, but let the employee have some creativity and let them innovate a little bit. Keep the communication open is the best thing to do in that situation. The second toxic management behavior, withholding information. Deliberately keeping employees in the dark creates a culture of secrecy and mistrust. It's always best policy to be open with your communication. And I'm not just talking about an open door, but be as transparent as you possibly can. You don't want to give away every secret, and there has to be some privacy, of course. But you want to be careful that you are not withholding information that the staff needs. The team is led by the quarterback, but the team needs to know what the play is. That's why they have a huddle. So keep communication open. Decision making is hampered and teamwork becomes difficult when information is withheld for whatever reason. We do not want to keep the team in the dark. That leads to secrecy, mistrust, and ultimately a team breakdown. The third toxic management behavior I want to talk about on this podcast is only seeing the R in HR. Viewing employees merely as resources overlooks their humanity and also their potential contributions to the team. It can lead to burnout. It can lead to reduced engagement, and people don't stay in that type of environment, so it leads to turnover. Evidence shows, they've done a lot of studies on turnover, that when an employee leaves, that basically costs the company anywhere up to $20,000 to retrain and keep a new employee in the loop. But let's keep the ones who are already there and let them be valued. So don't look at the R only in human resources in HR. Appreciate that employee and let them know that they have value, because if the employee feels he does not have value, he won't be there this time next year. The next toxic management behavior, thinking leadership is a position. What do I mean by that? Well, believing authority is derived solely from one's rank misses the real essence of leadership, which is to inspire and to guide others. The best leaders build leaders. It fosters a culture of command and control when you think of yourself in a position of leader. A democracy works much better than a dictatorship. And again, I don't know of too many people who enjoy working with someone who considers himself to be the general and to be in the highest ranking. But it's a leader who will guide and uphold his team. And let's face it, for a lot of people, authority goes to their heads. And I can talk about that for hours, about all the folks I work with who were in management and considered themselves leaders. You know, that's something that you can't give yourself. That has to be earned, that title of leadership. I don't even like the word leadership, because who gave you that title? But your position is where you're leading the team by example, not by your rank or by your position. And being a leader is actually a privilege. It's not a birthright. The next toxic managerial behavior: playing favorites. Favoritism erodes the team. It erodes the morale, and it's not fair. It creates divisions and resentment from the other team members. When opportunities and recognition are not merit-based, it discourages effort and loyalty. We could say that everybody has a favorite. We all have our favorite players on the baseball team. We may even have our favorite child, our favorite pet. But playing favorites doesn't work in most environments. Does not work in most environments. It erodes the team morale, and it erodes the feeling that everybody's playing fair on a level playing field. And it definitely creates division and resentment within the team. So when opportunities arise, recognize and make it merit-based. The next toxic behavior: divide to control. Now, this is a tactic that destroys team unity and trust. It leads to a toxic work environment. When you as the leader want to divide people to control them, all it does really is undermine collaboration, and it fosters competitive team members. It's us against them. It may work in sports and in wartime, but dividing to control just doesn't fly in a career and in a job situation. Next toxic management behavior I want to talk about today is being unavailable as a manager. How many times have we been in a situation through our lives where we could not find the manager, couldn't find the leader, couldn't find them? Where did they go? I remember many times in my career as a charge nurse where I had to be there for my team. In my younger days, I would look for my manager or for my charge nurse or team leader, and I used to have a saying. I said, well, they must have jumped back into that hole, that rabbit hole, and I can't find them. So leaders need to be available. When a team member feels like the manager is not available, this leaves the employees and the team feeling unsupported and uncertain. Doesn't make for a very good work environment. It hinders their development and the ability to address issues promptly. And in the field of nursing, as well as the service industry and many others, by not addressing issues promptly, it leads to major problems. more than anything, it leads to decreased job satisfaction. So, in conclusion, the 7 toxic behaviors that we talked about today, managers, you need to listen and learn to be the leader that you are destined to be. Be careful of these toxic management behaviors: micromanaging, withholding information, only seeing the R in HR, human resources, thinking leadership is a position or a birthright, playing favorites, dividing to control the team, and being unavailable. I hope this has helped you in your career walk, whether you're a student or a young nurse or in some other field of endeavor. You want to be happy in your job. It makes for a peaceful, happy life. My name is Brian Smith. Stay focused, stay inspired, and stay tuned. Thank you for listening.